If you're ready to stop playing small and own your story, then this is where you belong. The Unstoppable Network is where the overcoming stories are getting very loud. From veterans to survivors to trailblazers, sharing their story of turning their pain into power. Welcome to the Unstoppable Network, where we turn your mess into a message.
Wow, I love it. That's amazing.
Hello. Welcome back to the Unstoppable Network. We have decided to, if this is your first time joining us on this new platform, we have decided to amalgamate and put all three shows under one amazing network so that we could be a better service to you, because that's what we want. We want everybody's, we want more for you, is what we want here. So you still get the amazing stories of veterans, survivors, and trailblazers, but instead of three separate shows, we're now under one. And what about you? Like that new logo, Dr. J?
I love it. It's beautiful.
The Phoenix rising.
Yeah, it's epic. It's very, very cool.
Ooh.
So tonight, because it's newly and redesigned.
I mean, I think we all have a little bit of Phoenix rising in us.
Yes, absolutely. So we wanted to come on here because we haven't been on in quite a while. I'm Dr. J. Royster. I run a private practice called Semper Modus, and it's for veterans and police officers and their family. And we do different innovative therapeutic techniques to alleviate symptoms of anyone that's struggling with mental health, from couples to children to everything in the middle, and elderly as well. So here we are. But what I want to do tonight is I am the co-host, but we need to have Dorothy share some how she became a media lady. That's what I want to know. There's a little delay. Sorry, honey. Did you get all that?
Oh my gosh. How did I become a media lady? Sorry, I'm closing down a lot of my things. I don't know what this internet's doing. But anyway, so how did I become a media lady? Well, I spent 30 years in bookkeeping. And I decided that I just wanted something different. I wanted, people are my jam, numbers are not. And so I saw this ad that says, hey, 6 weeks and get your live streaming show up and running. And that was 4 years ago. That was by Tim Sohn. And Tim and I are still friends to this day. So I took a 6-week course, and here I am 4 years later, interviewing amazing people, getting in touch with veterans and business owners and people who want to make impact, cancer survivors, people who just want to make a difference in the world or that have gone through hell and come out the other side. And I can identify with each and every single one of them as a niece that is, has an uncle that has served in the Canadian Armed Forces. I know what it's like to be on this side, not on your side. So it's funny because I didn't really think about it. It's always there. Every Friday night, we used to go to the Canadian Legion with Grandpa, have a drink, and sit there and hear the stories and fish fries, right? Fish fries.
Yeah.
And then you go have a drink, and then you go back to the house, and that's what it was. And I didn't even think about that really, till 20 years later. I have Greg Bicklow on my show. Back then it was Unstoppable Overcomers.
Mhm.
And, since then, well, you guys can't get rid of me. So that's why I'm here. I want to make a difference in the world by making sure other people share their stories and creating that impact. So that's
There
why.
we go.
That's why media. That's why media.
So, what made you become a veteran supporter? Was it just your family, or did Greg initiate a fire in you?
Greg initiated the fire in me. Let's back it up a bit. I would say on the eve of my 40th birthday, I was on a missions trip out in Dominican, and my uncle, the one who had served, had passed away when I was on that trip. And a month before he passed away, he called me up and he was just beside himself because he sent me this email with a bunch of different things that would make a legacy for our family. So that none of our family would have to think about money ever again. So and he sent it to the wrong email. So at that time, he had been out of the Canadian Armed Forces for a while. He got pissed off because he wanted active duty, but because of his hearing and his eyesight, they refused to put him in active duty. He was an administrator for the Canadian Armed Forces. So basically, he saw the chair. That was it. And but he wanted to go out to the field, and the only way he could do that was to become a chaplain. So it took the schooling to become a non-denominational chaplain. But by then, the Canadian Armed Forces said, "Forget it. We're getting rid of all chaplains, and you're not going to go out on the front lines." So that pissed him off. So he quit and decided to go teach English in Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
No, Taiwan. Sorry, Taiwan. I have an aunt in Hong Kong. So yeah, my dad's baby sister is out there still. She's the only. So anyways, the Grahams historically have this thing of, living paycheck to paycheck. And so he wanted to break the cycle, and he wanted me to be the spearhead of this. But everything he sent me had already been done, right? To form one form or another. And he wanted me to engineer all of this. It's not like you couldn't share it with anyone. At that time, I was just like, there's no damn way I could do this. And 90% of what you gave me, without help, and of course, and 90% of what you gave me has already been done. So what he didn't realize, though, that his legacy was the military. Like, that's the legacy of our family. So to answer your question, though, let's jump a little bit ahead here now to Greg Bicknell being on my show January 31st of, I think it was 21 or 22. So when Greg said 22 veterans a day were dying by suicide, there's something inside of me that just held on and would not let go. And I share my story where my other uncle, my dad's middle brother, died by suicide. So not only do I have the military, but I have the suicide together.
Right.
In one family. And so I thought there's no for that 22 a day. And so that's when I jumped back on the bandwagon for helping our veterans, or jumped on it for the first time, I guess. I remember going to see my uncle when he was stationed out in Kingston and things like that. But I don't even remember if we went on base. We might have. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But all I could remember is, him not being home. And, when he was home, I remember that. And so I don't know if he struggled with mental health, other than being away from family. I don't know that because I never had the opportunity to push. Never had the opportunity to ask him if his platoon had, or his people he worked with had some. So I have all this amazing knowledge, and I'm like, none of my family's here.
Right.
So now you're my family. Lucky you.
So what did you, when
So
you heard about the 22 a day, like what did that do to you as far as I'm going to enmesh myself in this and see what I can do to like further the cause to stop the suicide?
my heart broke when Greg said that. And then he said that that was the stat before even that, and he thought that it was even doubled that at the time of the interview. And I don't know, there was just something in me that said, there's just, this can't continue. There has to be another way.
Yes.
And so I'm the type of person where I see a need and I fill it. That is how I am. If I see it, I have to do everything in my power to change it if I can. And so for out of the 4 years, the last 3 years, I just put everything I had into it until I couldn't anymore. And then I had to take a little bit of a break. And not that I don't actively serve, because if I hear of anybody needing anything, I'm immediately in contact with who I know that could help that person. I'm still very much active on the Friday calls with Angels 14. It's just I was on Greg's board at one time. Well, he still had Camaraderie Rescue Mission, which turned to Heroes, Badges, and Warriors. So it was just hearing those stories. If you don't take care of yourself when you're hearing these stories, it can get to you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And leaving a life of service, historically, we burn ourselves out because we want to do so much. We want to save everybody, right? I don't pretend I'm God, but if I can save somebody else, I will.
Right.
So that's just ingrained in me, and that is all I know, or that's all I knew. Until the last year, I've been really looking at me and what I need and how I can better myself so that I can be better service to others.
Which is less
without the expense of myself.
Right.
Right.
And that's why we've kind of honed this into, you've decided to create a network as opposed to 3 individual shows every single week, because that will burn you out and it makes you not want to do it. Plus, you're taking time away from your, family that misses you for the couple hours you're gone. So, that's understandable as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm only in the spare bedroom, but yeah. One day it will be a big studio where we will have people can come in studio and get interviewed. But in the current moment, it's in my spare bedroom.
Well, plus you're in Canada, so that's going to be challenging.
Well, yes and no. I mean, if Mel Robbins can do it and the Diary of a CEO can do it, why can't I do it? And I get that all Americans.
Not at all. I like my Zoom though.
I just realized that, and that's why I was kind of excited, because I finally got a couple Canadians on here that were willing to speak. So it's not that I mean, I love my Americans, and I am part American. So myself, it's funny. Not too many people knew that, and so somebody was just bashing. I am part American as well. So if you don't like it, there's the door.
Well,
them up pretty
you're
quickly,
10 minutes from the border, and I used to live in Michigan, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, my
I'm
great
just
grandmother.
storm now. It's very exciting. But that's why I chose to live in the middle of Florida. You know, everybody's worried about it. And I'm just like, yeah, we get wind, you know.
Yeah.
I don't live in Sarasota, Tampa, or like, you know, the other side, Miami, right?
Well, we're having your heat flash, man. We're at 32 degrees and counting, plus our humidity. So it's been a freaking nightmare here. I don't need to be in Florida for the heat. I've got it.
At least right now.
For
In
right now,
November,
yeah.
you're going to call me. I know this.
Well, girlfriend, if everything works out, like my husband wants to go to Mexico in October, so I'm thinking,
Nice.
okay, when can I plan my trip to Florida? Because I haven't done that yet this year. So
Right.
I'm like, we need a weekend at least in Florida.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we can set that up most
So,
definitely.
yes. So I'm not. I'm figuring a way how to do that.
Okay. Well, you gotta let me know.
So-
So what is the one thing no one knows about you?
Oh, that I was part American. I
No,
just
we
said
knew
that.
that.
Not
You wouldn't love
everybody
us
knew
so
that.
much if you weren't part American. I want deep
What
dark.
does no? I'm an open book. I like everybody knows pretty much everything about me. There isn't too much that I don't share. That's interesting. Everybody knows everything.
Think so?
I think so.
You might have some new listeners. You might want to share something exciting. What's next?
Well, I mean, majority of y'all know that I love romance novels. Like that, I kept that quiet for a while too. But guess what I did 2 weeks ago? I didn't even ask permission. They were having a whole vendor, like 50 vendors here in Windsor at the casino, and they were having like 50 romance authors. So I went for 2 days. I spent literally 6 hours walking around talking to each of the authors, asking them what got them interested in writing romance novels, especially the smutty kind, because those are the best. And so I'm going to do something with that, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So when I know, you'll know. But yeah, it's that's basic. I don't know what's next.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how many people would be interested in a book club. That's what I want to know. Because yeah, I've got access to some amazing authors. So now I want to
my way. I have so many clients that are like, we read this.
Well, there's a couple.
This, and I'm like, yeah. Because I listen.
Okay. You really got to get your hands on this book.
I'll write that down.
Lou Sutherland. It was Delicious Surrender. I'm telling you, it was delicious. And it had some, I haven't done my complete review on it yet, but I'm telling you, there's nothing like a Scottish billionaire to get your juices pumping on top of a little bit of BDSM. It was a great book. And the author is freaking amazing. She is older than me, and I just found it fascinating that she decided to go for it and write a romance novel, but not only just a romance novel, a spicy romance novel. And you have to get the book to read the foreword, because the foreword's absolutely freaking amazing. Her husband must be something else. That's all I got to say. But anyways, she's an amazing lady.
I'm sure she did a ton of research for it. Yeah.
I'm sure she did. And I'm just like, I'm getting some ideas. So I don't know. But
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, why am I saying this? I don't want the world to know that. But anyways, doesn't matter. It's out there now.
I asked you, yeah, what people
Yeah,
don't know.
and-
Now we know. Gives you the whole spectrum, though, of a person. It's like
now you know.
some
Hopefully
things.
my husband doesn't read this or listen to this episode.
Oh, you're funny.
I just like to have fun. I like to laugh, joke, carry on. And I'm Scottish and Irish, so I'm perverted. What can I say? I got that from my dad. Like,
My maiden name's
I
Scottish,
have
so
a
I get
twisted
it.
sense of humor.
I totally get it.
You know what would be so fun? So I know I make everybody laugh, but I do it so naturally. Like I don't even think about it. And I use other people not as in a bad way, but like I feed off what people are telling me so that it gets even more embedded. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I can't just
absolutely.
I just can't be like you're a stand-up comedian because I need like
Material.
people to say something and then I'll just like it's like one-liners like material, right? And so
Absolutely.
I wanted to do like a whole comedy series, but I'm like I can't do that with just me. So if anybody's interested in coming on and just having conversations and then we could just make a like freaking laughing
Yeah, if you
stock
think you're funny, we will add to it.
of everything, that would be great. Let me know if anybody's interested in that.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, there is no way in hell you'll get my husband on this show. I kind of think, it used to bother me, but I kind of think of us as Dolly Parton and Dean Wagner. Because Dean, you never heard what Dean did. Dean was a mechanic when he first met Dolly, and Dolly was out in the limelight. And funny enough, my mom's name is Dolly. Well, it's Dorothy, but she wanted to go by Dolly because we're all Dorothy's in our family. So when I think of this and think, oh, I wish my husband would be on the show, I just think, wait a minute, he's just like Dean Wagner, and you're never going to get his ass on this show.
It's probably not going to know what to
So
talk about.
I've resigned myself to the fact.
Yeah, I get that. And that's okay. It's not for him.
Sorry?
You like to host and you're very good at it. So it makes it easier. So you coming out with any new books?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
You're coming out with a new book?
So what else do you want to know? Sorry?
I said you're coming out
Oh,
with a
God,
new book?
no. Not yet. I want
Why
to,
not?
but I'm not yet. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Oh, I'm working on finishing
mine.
mine.
I want to. I want to write a romance novel, but I'm not there yet.
Why do you say that? Just put all your ideas on paper and go.
No time. Oh, I don't know if I'm good enough writer yet to do it. So, I have 2 books out already, and and I have chapters in other books. I'm a 4-time author, but it's not smut books.
You've read enough of them to know that how the plot lines work, where you put the information. Come on now. Stop playing with me. I want to read some smut. Well, listen.
10,000 books or more. You're right.
So, what are you waiting on?
I don't know. Perhaps. I will set aside an hour a week and see what I can do. That's all I can give it at the moment.
I will do the same. Because I need to finish mine.
Okay. So what's your book about? Well, hold up here. What's your book about?
I have 2 books. One is called Why Am I So Mean to Me?
I love that title.
Yeah. And it's basically, like the first 3 sessions of therapy, it's kind of like, disputing those irrational beliefs and basing things on evidence and kind of putting some coping skills in there so that they can kind of get the book, read it through, save some money, especially if they don't have money for therapy, a couple bucks for a book and actually get some solutions is a good thing. It's nice to read about things, but when there's not really any solutions in the book, it causes me to get frustrated. Dr. Martha Beck is really good. She's, a Harvard professor, and she talks about little things here and there, but there's not really like, a lot of people are looking for self-help, but they're looking for like workbooks and solutions, and people don't give them away. They want you to buy more. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm like, let's get you out of that moment where you feel like you are worth nothing because somebody decided that you didn't have value, So that's one of the books. And then the other one is Change Your Language, Change Your Life. And it's kind of like how we communicate in relationships. Not that I'm a marriage counselor by any means. I'm 0 for 10. Like, no. But it talks about the way you communicate. Not that I've been married 10 times, that I counseled people unsuccessfully in couples therapy 10 times and I quit. I have a dude for that now. Like I hired a psychologist and I'm like, you like this, please handle, because I'm just not great. I pick a side every time. And that's not great. So I focus on the individual, play to my strengths. And with the book, I think it's going to be about basically how we communicate and why our partner receives us the way that they do, and then explain how you can do it differently. Because I believe that, we build up resentments and, when I'm told you need to, it's a trigger. You need to do this. No, I don't, and I don't want to respond that way. And I'm very mindful, like the first time somebody says that to me, I'm like, it's not really motivates me to do anything productive. I kind of share in a kind way, but when they continue to do it, it's like, okay, you're not listening to my wishes at all, and then that builds up resentment and on and on and on. So, I think the way that we speak to each other can definitely be enhanced to have a quality relationship. There's that age-old thing. Well, she don't have sex with me, right? Well, okay. How are you approaching her with that request? Or how have you been treating her 99 hours of 99 minutes of the rest of the time you spend together? So it's kind of like explaining what that looks like and kind of taking ownership.
Bingo.
And there's a lot of relationships that are like, well, why should I have to change? Well, one of you has to in order for the situation to change. So who wants to change? Who wants to take that first baby step? It's like a tango and a dance, and you have to step forward and then you have to step back, and there's reciprocity and, all of those things. So the book is about you just changing your language in order to enhance your life. Because the last thing you want to do is work all day and, be completely exhausted and come in the door and get berated for 20 minutes, whether it's, the wife or the husband, right? Because they're
100%.
stay-at-home dads and everything else right now. And, you need that time in between work and home, and all of that's in there. Not that I'm an expert, just
right.
I've worked with some people.
I need to read both of those books. So when are they coming out?
I got to finish them. I'm almost done. So, like I said, I'm going to commit an hour a week.
Okay. So when?
You're so funny. I just did a speaking engagement. He's like, "Where's your books?" And I'm like, "My computer."
Yeah, that helps a lot, with speaking engagements, especially. I don't know, like you have so many freaking letters behind your name. I don't think you should need a book. However, when you have a book, it makes it it makes you look more prestigious. But I'm like, you literally have 20 freaking characters behind your name if you were to put everything out there. So, and I'm saying that in a good way, like go Jay. But I mean,
it was
like,
just because I couldn't find help. I couldn't find what I was looking for. Everybody wants me to sit in my worst experience of my entire life and feel all the feelings. Well, it made me physically sick. Like, no, this is not a good plan. Let's find different ways, you know? And I think there's a lot of people who feel that they come up with, you know, something that's very beneficial for certain people and they think it's the only thing. And I kind of had to step away from that because that's not the case. Yes, it's beneficial and, you know, what I've created it's good stuff, but there's no one thing that works for 8 billion people. Otherwise, why would they need anyone else? You know, and even my style may be too abrupt for certain people. They may not be ready for me, you know, because I move the needle. Let's go 60 miles an hour right now. I am NASCAR, you know, and I'm very direct. So a lot of people can handle that. I get rejected all the time, but it's not personal. It's not because I'm, you know, an awful human being. It's because I'm like, let's move the needle. And they're like, wait, hold on. I'm not ready. And I'm like, okay, you're going to somebody else. Just because I can't be, I'm not for everybody.
right.
But it took me a
and I
long
think
time to
that's-
figure that out.
Right.
I used to get really upset by it.
Well, and that's what's so great about you having so many clinicians on your team, because what you know, you might be able to help them get to a certain point, and then they need maybe like Norm or Sabrina to go the rest of the way, or all the
Sabrina's
other
the
amazing, fabulous
sweetest.
people.
I mean, she's the one that's like, yeah, I totally, you know, she's the slow and steady wins the race therapist, where, you know, Norm is like, okay, close your eyes and 8 minutes later you feel better and you have no idea what happened, you know. And then there's Mike, who's the, you know, Dr. Mike is like the psychologist who does the couples therapy, and, you know, he's very, very, very structured, but he does it in a way where it's just, you know, everybody's like, oh, I've been to couples counseling and I've seen, you know, 4 psychologists and Dr. Mike is amazing. And that's like, I know. But it's also because he wore the boots for 8 years, you know?
Mhm.
And then you have, you know, a couple other psychologists that work with me, that work with little kids. And I have one that changes perspective, like your whole world, in the sweetest way, because she's just gingerly and she's retired and she's got gray hair, so she looks like, you know, grandma, but she comes at you, man, with fangs, and it's amazing. But you have no idea, you know. I mean, she's done it to me. She's like, did you ever think this? And I'm like, she goes, make sure you tell your psychologist. And I'm like, oh my God, she just saw my soul. I said, do you want to work with anybody? Like, I hired her on the spot, you know?
Right.
Because, I mean, it's
Well,
something no one else has pointed out. And if you're going to come at me and point out something that no one else sees, like, I'm going to hire you.
Right.
Because that's amazing.
Well, we all have our blind side, and sometimes we don't want to see it. And sometimes when we need somebody to point it out, right? And I think that's what's so great about having either a therapist or a psychologist or a mentor or coach or somebody to come alongside of us and say, hey, you know, have you ever thought about this way? Like, I was listening to one of my trainings for one of my mentors, and she goes, you know, you don't think you're successful, but what's your definition of a success?
Yes.
Right. And so,
you know, here I am. For every single person.
Well, even yourself in one moment, because I can think, okay, because I don't have $1 million in my bank account, I'm not successful. But that's a load of shit, because I mean, who stays with something for 4 years and interviews as many people as I have and not be some success? Not to mention that success doesn't have to be monetary, even though that's what the world does it at. And someone said, close your eyes and what's your greatest success? I said, the greatest success truly is gaining the respect of my veteran community. To me, that was success. That
Yeah.
right there, because not too many people can say that. Not too many civilians can say that, is what I meant by that. And so, but it's just like, I can pick up the phone at any given day, and I know there's 6 of you that without a question, anything I needed, it would be, yep. But you all know that from day one, whatever you guys needed, I was there for.
Right.
So to me, that's just like, I think I needed a referral for a client, and I ended up having, so Kimberly's like, well, who is your number one base? And I'm like, well, that's the veteran space. She goes, well, go ask them. And every single one of you, yeah, not a problem. What do you need me to say?
Right.
It's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I was in tears.
We're here to serve.
Yeah.
So I'm venturing into like the Hollywood community, and it's interesting to me. It's like, how do you define success? And they're like, fame. And I'm like, what does fame mean? And I literally have to break it down for them, because they just think, oh, I want to be the next George Clooney. Well, what does that entail? Like, you are no longer you when you're a George Clooney or Brad Pitt level. Do you understand that? Because there is no space for you anymore. And having them kind of step back and realize that is definitely, it makes them think long and hard about, their aspirations and what they're willing to sacrifice to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw a pretty major downfall of somebody today. I mean, yeah, he got off on a couple of counts, but at the same time, he's never going to be the same.
No.
Honestly, I think the only reason he got off the counts he did is because we are so over stimulated with exposure to sex that it desensitized that jury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if he did this stuff in the 70s, he'd be in jail for life. Yeah. It wouldn't even be a question.
Well, and depending on if he gets out, well, he said there's supposed to be a 20-year life sentence, but I don't know how long they actually keep it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
it's maximum. The attorneys are saying 3 to 5 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Well, that is sickening, in my opinion. When he gets out, we'll see what the general public do.
Especially if you're a survivor of some of that abuse. It's pretty.
Well, especially Bieber, because I think, according to how everything's been portrayed, he was. I don't know what happened, and I wasn't looking at any of it. But if that's the case, like that's a slap in the face for these survivors.
Yes. And they are struggling, I assure you.
Yeah. Wow. 3 years max for all that.
3 to 5, yeah. Oh.
And he already served 1. So does
right.
that mean he already served?
Is that going to contribute to it? Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Statute of limitations in California for all that domestic violence was 1 year.
Holy shit.
So she couldn't get him on that. Not to mention, these people are terrified.
Right. Well, because you never know who's connected to who.
Yes. I don't know how they'll ever be safe again. It's pretty horrific. I think it's funny that Megyn Kelly, like, she F-bombed on her show. And I was like, wow, please tell me more. I mean, she got her 15 minutes in, because on YouTube, you have to do 15 minutes and then you can say what you want.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
So the bots quit after 15 minutes. Good to know.
Pretty much, yes. That's why I'm like, you can say fuck, it's fine. But we got to get 15 minutes in first.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, like I said, I don't follow it because it makes me sick and stuff like that, especially stuff I have no control over. Could potentially just take me out. Like I don't know. I just can't even look at stuff like that. Because it infuriates me. That or with stuff, especially stuff with kids. Abuse with kids.
Well, and I also think that's the difference between R. Kelly and, this guy. I don't even want to say his name. Is because, everybody has a zero tolerance policy for children abuse. But at the same time, like, what about Usher? What about Bieber? What about so many others that, are not coming forward? You know that there's some things. But, yeah. Anyway.
I think when you look at it as a child, they're helpless, so they can't help they can't help themselves. I think that's, well, for me anyways, that's how I look at it. But Beaver, his mom is the one that gave him to, and that she should be up on charges. But anyhow.
Yeah,
and of course,
but it's also a challenge if you have a child who really wants to be famous and wants to do, and I think we have this mindset, like, if people promise us they're going to take good care of our children, that we believe them.
Mm-hmm.
How well do we vet our nannies or babysitters or, friends of the family or, I think we just hope the people that we spend time with are good people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never really know. Probably why. Think about a lot of the criminal, you can hear from a guy down the road who killed his girlfriend after 12 years of being violent. And you're like, oh my God, I would have never. How many times have you heard that somebody says, I would never expect that from him. I can't believe he did that. Right. When this guy went up on charges and the feds invaded all of his houses and stuff, like everybody was shocked. And I'm like, man, it doesn't surprise me. But I'm not surprised by much, just because I've been overexposed because of what I do for a living. So it's really easy for me being, counseling the people behind the scenes on certain things. I was very educated very quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes you want to have nothing to do with it.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about
on the
that.
big screen, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. I want to be doing that. And then you talk to somebody who's holding the microphone for 18 hours, and you're like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just saying, it's not what it's cracked up to be, is my point.
Well, 100%. And at some point, you got to put what you value most, and what you value most is your family. What is that really doing to your family, right?
Right.
And so that's why
I really like my soul. I don't want anybody else to have it. I'm a little selfish.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. I totally 100% get that. Fame and money is not everything.
No, considering you don't even get, it's nice to hear that somebody got $20 million for a movie, but at the end of the day, like, how much do you get to keep of that? 3? Cool. No, it's not worth it.
No. There's so many other ways you can make money.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, lady, 3 things you value.
Family, friends, and I won't go with the third half. family, friends, and
We're at the
my
end of the
God,
show.
stumped
You
me.
can say
No. No, I would you well, no, family and friends are my top two. God, family, and friends. There we go.
it.
They're
Okay.
my three things I value.
And in 5 years, where will this network be?
We will be on. We will be on a syndicated platform. Is where we will be on. That's for damn sure.
Very
And
cool.
we will also have our own. What do you call that? Documentary already complete by then in 5 years.
Nice.
Our very first documentary.
I'll sell stuff. It's fine. Yeah.
So it's funny because I have a cousin that she bought a computer. She goes, I want to do documentaries. I said, great. I want to produce documentaries. I said, and I already know what I want to do. So
Isn't that
let's do
amazing?
it.
Yeah.
But she wants to do geeky, nerdy things, and I want people. So
So
hopefully
find
she
some
can do
geeky, nerdy
hers.
people to shoot. You'd be all set.
Yeah. Only
Yeah.
hers is so far above my head. Just like I don't know. But
Just say pause. Slow play.
yeah,
It
we're in
might
two
work.
different realms. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh, I
But
get that.
yeah.
But I have some pretty cool, exciting non-veterans to come on your show, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Ooh.
Yes, honey. And
Really?
I will be at spring training this year. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen the interview that I did with Joe Spurley. He was on the Unstoppable Overcomer show. This guy trains baseball players.
Hmm.
And so he calls me like every week, oh my God, I really want that episode to go viral. And he goes, what tickets do you want for the Detroit game? Since, I live
I
across the
love
street from
that.
Detroit.
Yeah.
So he's, when you said spring training, because I know that he is part of, getting all that up and running at one point until his accident. So when you said that, I was like, that's so cool. And I've always wanted to go to spring training for the Detroit Tigers. So,
well, then go.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's called spring training. It's preseason because it's
Okay.
foosball. So,
Foosball. Oh, Lord help me. So,
what? I like The Water Boy. It's a good movie.
you like the water, right?
And every time I present, somebody says I remind them of Kathy Bates. I'm like, I'll take it. Apparently, it's my sense of humor. I don't know.
Well, you kind. If I close my eyes, you kind of sound like her.
Well,
But I don't
maybe
think.
that's it. Yeah.
When I think of her, though, I think of that movie where she goes psycho.
Yeah, fried green tomatoes.
Yeah.
Or
You're
Misery.
not.
Are we talking about Misery? The one where she breaks
Misery.
Oh, I can't take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Annie's diabolical. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, her or Melissa McCarthy. I get the cross between those two. I'm like, I'll run with it.
I love Melissa McCarthy.
Who doesn't?
Love
I mean, she throw punched Jason Bateman. Like, why would you not do that? Oh, I'm sure that he gets people to run up to him and try and throw punch him. Why are you doing this? Because he did it in the movie. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
But I do. Yes. Oh, I forgot to put this up here. But there is one last thing I do want to say before we wrap this up. There is still time to get in on the 4th annual Don Gray Memorial Fun Golf Classic.
Yes.
And I want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors that have already come forward, and that is Pure Flavor Foods. Huge thank you for being a whole sponsor again this year. Huge thank you to my cousin, Late Talks on Air with Nancy Duffy. So thank you for being a whole sponsor this year. Thank you to IG Wealth Management and Master Narni and Associates. Thank you to them. And thank you to Sutherland Elliott Insurance Brokers, again, for being a whole sponsor. But there is still time. You can get pre-registered up until July 20th. It's only $400 for a foursome, a potential $10,000 prize for a hole-in-one. If you're an amateur golfer, there is that this year. Some amazing food. We have Taylor's fish truck coming out this year. So fish and chicken this year. And we have also decided, because I heard this quote a month ago that said we die twice, our last breath and the last time someone says our name. So this year, we're not just making it about my dad. We're making this about everybody that has lost somebody to cancer. So we're making a memorial wall. So if you're coming to the event, bring a picture of your loved ones that have passed away with their name on it, and we will make sure that their name is spoken each and every time so that their memory never dies. So, there is still time. We're still looking for sponsors. We're still looking for door prizes. We're still looking for everything. So get in touch with me. Give me an email at grahamdorothy408@gmail.com or message me here. And we could, in the comments, wherever you're listening, whether that be our YouTube channel, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Share with all your amazing friends, because we want the world needs to hear these amazing stories of being unstoppable and turning our pain into power, because there's some people out there that are just sitting in it and they don't need to, when they realize that, wait a minute, they can turn that pain and turn it into power and get their message out. So go subscribe, the Unstoppable Network on YouTube as well. All right. So any last thing you want to say, Dr. J?
Be kind to one another. Stay safe, because there's a storm coming. And live your best life.
Yes. Ooh, I love that. Live your best life. Be unstoppable. Live your best life. Woohoo. All right, guys. Join us same time, same channel.